I wake up early, I sleep alone. I try to find love from a stranger on my phone. My vision blurry, so I forget. Dying to hold you, but you left me here for dead. How could I do what I've done if I'm in love? You know I did what I did, you loaded the gun. And I don't wanna think about you anyway. I do it anyway. Yeah, I didn't mean to do it every day. I do it anyway. Messing with monsters up in my head. Lie to myself, lying beside her in my bed. Paint over pictures you left behind. I'd punch the walls if it would make you change your mind. How could I do what I've done if I'm in love? You know I did what I did, you loaded the gun. And I don't wanna think about you anyway. I do it anyway. Yeah, I didn't mean to do it every day. I do it anyway. I do it anyway. I do it anyway. Don't wanna think about you anyway. I do it anyway. How could I do what I've done if I'm in love? You know I did what I did, you loaded the gun. And I don't wanna think about you anyway. I do it anyway. Yeah, I didn't mean to do it every day. I do it anyway. I do it anyway. I do it anyway. Don't wanna think about you anyway. I do it anyway. I do it anyway.
A real clockwork soldier.
Generation Orange in 5, 4.
These don't pop at all, but that's. Oh, hey, someone needs to fix the camera. I mean, I don't need to be on camera. I got a face for video for radio, not video.
There we go. Now we're good.
Welcome to Generation Orange, a Houston internet soccer show and podcast. We are your hosts, Sean Ringrose and
Edson Ochoa.
and we are talking to you live from our apartment. That's our TV behind us, by the way. It's not on right now. It needs to be on. Why is it off? I didn't mean to turn it off. I'll turn it on in next break, whenever that may be. So we mentioned on Twitter this week is going to be kind of a focus on what's coming up for the off season, looking ahead to CCL. Off season moves that need to be made. We got an expansion draft coming up that we got to deal with, and a host of other things. Because now that Dynamo are completely out of the MLS regular playoffs, for sure, that means their season is basically over. We still have a home match on Sunday, whatever day that is, on the 21st. And so, make sure you make it out for that match, the final match. It's a great opportunity to support the club, support the team. We talked about it pretty hardcore last week, ranted a little bit. We had Jay on talk about it, but you definitely need to come out and make sure you make it out to this match. Because again, it could be could be Beasley's final match of his career. Damn, dude. Oh, man. That's not smart water. That's dumbass water right there.
Can we leave the snotty remarks whenever we have?
Come on, dude.
We have to save them for whenever we play Rocket League.
Just so y'all can see, he's drinking smart water over here.
Apparently, the smartness doesn't rub off when you drink it.
It does not absorb in the first 30 seconds. Anyways,
Nope.
We're getting off track. But then you're going to complain that keyboard's going to make problems for your playing Rocket League. You'll be like, oh, man, now the keys are all sticky or whatever. And it's water.
I use a controller, but we'll talk about that later.
That's right. And also, yeah, that's the other thing we're going to talk about tonight, which is we're going to talk video gaming, talk about Down in the Valley gaming. We've been pretty low-key quiet about it. I mean, we talk about it every once in a while, but it's time for us to really dive in deep and explain why we're doing it, what we're doing, and kind of keep you guys updated as to what's going on. I'm sorry, Darby, that you have to work on Sunday, but hey, there are far worse places to be working on a Sunday than Renfest. So shut your mouth, is what I'm saying, Darby, because I wouldn't say I'd rather be out there at Renfest, but if I was out at Renfest and I was missing a Dynamo match, I would not be complaining about it. That's for sure. Of course, you're working it, so maybe that's a little different, but I always enjoy going out to Renfest. Also, side note to that, if you have not made it out to Renfest, make sure you make it out to Renfest and say hi to Darby. She's working out there. I don't know what booth. I think she said it last time, and I just haven't paid attention. Also, I feel miserable. I think I'm getting sick. So if I start tapering off at some point, it is your responsibility, Edson, to bring the show back in because I'm going to be bad tonight. I can already tell.
Gotcha.
So let's. We got what? I can't see the clock.
It's 7 o'clock. 7:02. Well, 7:04 on our actual.
Where's that? Oh, up there. There we go.
Yes.
All right, cool. Okay. That's kind of cool, actually, that that's up there. I really wish I had noticed that was... Oh, that's only up there when we're actually streaming, like live streaming and not just music, right? That's the only time.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why. All right. Yeah, off-season talk, and again, it's a light show because we're kind of opening up. We're not opening up the phone lines. That's not happening this week. I mean, if you call in, you call in, but we're opening up the discussion. We want you guys to be engaged, especially if you're in the YouTube chat. I know that right now the Astros are doing their thing against the Boston Red Sox, which is why that TV is about to turn on here in just a minute. I'm good at math things and mathematics. Google's also really good at mathematics, by the way, Cisco. But yeah, we knew we needed a kind of a light show. It's towards the end of the season now. We're all kind of worn out. It was a long Open Cup run, emotional many weeks, past few many weeks. It's been a weird season, weird in kind of a good way, I guess. With how it ended, but yeah. Just needed a lighter week of this because I'm exhausted, to be totally honest, and also because we wanted to talk off-season stuff. I knew that was high on everybody's list now that we're done. Their thing is not losing. It's just that they're not quite hitting yet. But what is it? It's what, the 7th inning now? 8th inning?
Eighth inning.
8th inning? Yeah, they still got an inning and a half to hit. Ish, maybe, possibly.
I like your positivism.
I stay positive
I wish
anyways.
more people would be as positive as you.
I stay positive no matter what. Well, what the hell are you asking, Cisco? That's the thing. I mean, you got to be careful how you're asking for things. But seriously, though, ask the question, and I'll see if I can answer it. Probably not, but I can try. Oh, we got two innings left. I mean, that's look, they're down by a run, right? Or maybe 2 runs. They're down by a run. Come on, that's nothing for the Astros. 1 home run, 1 couple of singles in a row. Springer dinger. He hadn't hit one in 2 games, which is kind of surprising. But you see, I'm repping. I just want that to be clear. I am repping, unlike other people, but I am repping.
You're lucky I'm not wearing my Mexico sweater right now.
I'm more upset that you're not wearing an RGV shirt after they technically knocked out San Antonio FC.
I'm saving that for Thursday.
Well, I mean, you know what? Look, these guys need to hear this too, right? I mean, come on now. You need to be proud of your team.
Plus, I lent my orange RGV shirt. I lent it to my sister, and my parents and her took it to McAllen in the dirty laundry, and my long sleeve goalkeeper one is dirty. So.
So I'm hearing excuses. So what I'm actually really hearing is you need to get another jersey.
I did, but I need to go pick it up next time I go.
That's right. So what you should have done, if they were going to meet you, or if she was going to meet you, you should have said, "Hey, can you bring my jersey with you?" You didn't think about that, did you?
Yeah, I did, but
it was too late. But whatever. Get out of here, son. I got to teach you how to do this life thing. Trying to find the distance needed to clear the Crawford boxes when the wall is 315 feet away but is 19 feet high. That's called trigonometry. You use the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I'm totally serious, by the way. You add 315 feet squared plus 19 feet squared, and that will equal C squared.
What he said.
Anyways, we're now everybody's trying to figure out what the hell the number is, and I'm like, I can tell you, but it's going to hurt my head. All right, so wow, we've rambled on for like 10 minutes now. Okay, like 3, but it feels like 10. So let's talk. You tried that. Okay, cool.
What is it?
What?
X equals negative me plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac.
That's called the that's quadrants. That's graph things. Not bar graphs, line graphs. That's line graphs, bro.
No, x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a.
That's not.
I don't know. That just came out of my head.
That's correct, but that's not that. That's something totally different. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Somebody's got to be smarter than me out there. I hope. Otherwise, this is a sad world if nobody's smarter than me. That's for sure. Wow, this has got to be the worst show to just be watching. That's the quadratic formula. See, isn't that exact? I said quadrants. I was close. I almost had it right. Quadratic.
Thank you,
formula.
Blues fan. It's been a while.
Yeah. You don't have an excuse compared to me. It's been like a year. Me, it's been like 20. Maybe not 20. No, 20. No, not quite 20. 18.
What is this?
315.572495633 was the answer, by the way.
Nice.
Thank you, Blues. Appreciate you, bro. Okay, so.
All right, so we're talking about Dynamo off season, Dash off season, RGV off season.
Exactly. So okay, let's start with the easy one, I guess, the Dash off season. So they've re-signed basically 90% of their players. The only player they really didn't re-sign this off season was Janine Van Vyk. And then there's a couple that are still pending signing, but they're re-signing. So basically, they've re-signed the whole team minus one player. And so unless they make some trades, which I don't actually foresee happening, I think the Dash, with how they ended the season, showed that this team is the right mix right now. And I don't think you want to mess that up by trying to do a trying to do some sort of trade or transfer or whatever. Is it the USA-Peru match? Oh, it is the USA-Peru match because she wants to watch her San
By the way, Cisco, you also have to take into consideration that when you're batting, it's not going to be from ground level, as well as Blues fans said that it doesn't really go on a straight path trajectory, rather it goes on a curve.
It has to go on a curve.
Yeah.
That's how gravity and all that good stuff works.
Yeah.
Wow, guys, this turned into a science discussion today on Dynamo Science America. I am your host, Sean Ringrose.
And Edson Ochoa.
You can't have any inflection. If this is Science America, it's got to be and I am your host. Very just somber, there's no emotion behind it. He's talking a parabolic. Oh my god! Okay, guys, seriously, stop. This is not becoming that type of show. I'm calling it right now.
Okay, so we talked about
they did not
sign.
They did not offer her a contract. They did not. It wasn't that they didn't. Well, they didn't re-sign her, but they just didn't offer her a contract. They did not. They didn't pick up her option either. So she's retiring anyways. I think is what she said. Essentially, basically. Can Academy. That's pretty funny. I can because I went to the Can Academy. I did not go to the Can Academy, just so that's clear. But if they wanted to sponsor us, I could definitely take a few classes and say I went to Can Academy. But yeah, so Dash. So what do they need in the offseason? In my opinion, absolutely nothing. I really don't think they need anything. The way they finished that season, not even on defense? No,
defense?
not even defenders. I really don't think they do. I think they have the right players in place. I think if you look at how Polkinghorne played, you look at how Amber Brooks played back there, you look at how Alyssa Chapman played, and you look at how, who was their other outside back? Help me out here. Bob. I don't remember who played outside back on the other side. I'm blinking. Sick. I'm telling you, I'm getting sick. But their back line, I think, is solid. They could use some depth. That would be helpful. They could use some depth at some of those positions.
Do you think also this has to do a lot with the fact that since Sofia Huerta...
This would have been a chance to have keeper notes on, by the way.
Yeah.
Jen would have been perfect in this discussion.
With the fact that they brought in Sofia Huerta and helped out the attack, that gave the defense less load, which is why they didn't seem...
Gee, does that not sound familiar? I swear that sounds very familiar to another team that did the exact same thing. And, when they swapped out players, it's amazing how much better the defense is. I don't know who that team was, but I'm pretty sure somebody can figure it out for me online. It's the 3rd minute. Nothing's happened. That was whatever. But no, seriously. I mean, that's soccer in a nutshell, right? Like if you don't have a good attack, if you don't have a good midfield, your defense is going to suffer. If you don't have a good defense, your attack and midfield have to pick up the slack, and it becomes harder on them, and they usually put the pressure on themselves to do it. Edson with the karaoke mic. Yeah, he did that last week too, and I was not a fan, but he has a thing. He likes to hold it like a broadcaster. Like, that's right. I'm cool, guys. I like to hold my mic. Yeah.
Definitely.
No comment to that? Yeah.
No, no comment.
And the sad thing is, I know we have microphone stands. We have microphone stands. We have many microphone stands.
We know, we do, but not a fan favorite of it. Almost knocking it down all the time.
I mean, you just knocked water over like 5 minutes ago, so...
Can we save this for whenever we're recording Rocket League?
I mean, this is
brings the ratings.
Does it really matter? I'm gonna get you then too, so it ain't gonna matter. All right, so like I said, as far as the dash would go, I don't really feel like they need to make a lot of moves. I don't think they even need to make many moves. I think they need to bring in some depth. That'll be the draft. That'll be a couple of maybe one signing from the re-entry draft or something. Probably not from the re-entry draft. Nobody picks anybody from there, but. Just depth. That's really all we're lacking, I think, on this team. I think the starting 11 is fantastic and plenty fine to handle what's going down, what they need to do. I think they're quality enough that it's not a big deal. The real question is, did Edson own up to his wager?
What wager? We tied. We didn't have to do anything if we tied.
Yeah, Blues, you're going to have to remind me which wager you're talking about.
Are you talking about the San Antonio... the South Texas Derby?
I would imagine that's what he's talking about. Darby says USA defense is not looking stellar. That is not a surprise. They have not looked good. Yeah, in a while.
Which is surprising because I know a lot of people I saw on Twitter making comments.
Blue says, yeah, that was the one he was talking about.
Yeah, no, I didn't have to.
Neither of them have to own up because they drew, so.
Thank you, Carlos the Small.
I do want it to be known who called the draw in that match. I may have had the goal tally wrong, but who called the draw?
You did.
That's right. I just want it to be known. That's right. I know my stuff. Okay, so back to the dash. We keep getting very sidetracked very easily. So you on YouTube chat, I'm talking primarily to Blues or Cisco or Callow or Darby. Who would you bring in if you're the dash? And I want legitimate answers only, please. Callow, I actually expect you to come up with the most legitimate answer. Well, you were Cisco or Darby. Not really Blues. And it's nothing against Blues. I just know he's not quite as high on the dash. Yes, Carlos Small. Let's go RGV for just a moment while we wait for them to respond. Carlos Small is a legit player at the USL level. Oh, Gabe is here. Oh, damn.
What is up, Gabe? Haven't seen you in a while.
Man, yeah, it's been like...
Welcome.
God, it feels like it's been a year since the last time he was in our chat. Gabe, we are honored to have you in our chat. It's like a privilege to just see your name pop up and be like, yay, Gabe. But, yeah, that match, man, he looked great. He really did. And, you know, I have a hard time thinking that kid's going to stay down in RGV for more than a couple more seasons.
Yeah. So one of the things that
Who would you bring in for the Dash, Callow? Yes.
It'd be interesting to see. So one of the things I have noticed about Carlos Small,
Carlos is small. Mm-hmm.
and it's more kind of a negative thing. We always talk about his positives, but the negative thing I see out of him, it's even got the wings. The only negative I see out of Carlos Small is that he gets desperate really quickly. He's like Kyoto.
He's immature and he's young.
Yeah. No, that's one of the things that he needs to work on. But other than that, you know, I was talking to Chewy after the match. Actually, was in the interview, and I asked him, you know, what was it about him and Carlos that made such an impact quickly for it to be that we got better results at the end of the season. He says one of the things is that as soon as we started playing with each other, there was just something that clicked.
Yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
He assisted me, I assisted him next time, and so on and so forth. We grew to trust each other, you know, so much, and I think that's where that pairing, you know, led to a lot more danger on the opposing teams. And we saw that against San Antonio. In the first half, it was, and Chewy said it himself, I wasn't concentrated. I don't know what happened with me. I just wasn't concentrated. The team wasn't concentrated. You know, San Antonio, they saw a video of us and they kind of had an idea what we're going to be trying to do, so they counteracted it. But in the second half, it was almost all RGV in the beginning. Carlos Small was able to get the goal once again, into a connection between him and Chuy Enriquez, just passing the ball, you know, to each other, you know, from the outside of the box in, and is able to slot it past Matt Cardone, who, by the way, for the rest of the match,
he was standing on his freaking head, dude. That was crazy.
Yeah, he blocked a couple of shots on Chuy Enriquez from against any other goalkeeper would have gone in.
Yeah, no.
Even Chuy was like, man, like going up against a keeper like that, it's extremely annoying, because he says it's a play that I've done many times, including at HB Park, and it always goes in. Last time it was Restrepo, this time it was Cardone. It's always by the tip of their fingertips that they're able to get it out.
Well, you know, that comes from repetition, though, being able to get in those positions, you know, more often and be able to make those shots more often. Mm-hmm. You know, at that point it's a game of inches, and you know, repetition means that you can get that extra inch. You can figure out how to shoot it a little harder, how to poke it in a little quicker, how to get to the ball faster, whatever it is. Callow says he doesn't really know because he's not well versed enough in it in the Dash to really give an idea of who they should bring.
I'm on the same plane, man. Don't worry about it.
I mean, like I said, there's just not a lot of options if I'm looking at NWSL in general that I would bring in to really shore up any particular position. I think there are upgrades out there, but I don't think it's something the Dash need to pursue. And I feel like if they pursue an upgrade at a position, they're at a disadvantage because they've proven that more often than not, they're not very good at trading within the NWSL. I've heard from a few different sources that the Dash are kind of viewed within NWSL front offices across the board as kind of easy to trade with and to kind of swindle and to get one over on. And that's not a good reputation to have unless you find a way to overcome that and maybe use it to your advantage. Let people think they're swindling you when in reality you're getting exactly what you want.
I'm assuming that's a USA goal.
Damn, Darby. Damn.
USMNT.
Let's see.
Of course, that's because I don't have...
You failed me.
There we go, football.
Football? You need some football? Let's see if I can pull it up before you. It'll be pretty funny. No, it's still 0-0.
Oh.
According to this. 0-0. See? 14th minute, though. 13th minute. That just went backwards. What the hell? Come on now.
That makes sense.
Hashtag Google.
Well.
What if I just want to see the live score? I'll pin it. There we go. Now it's at the top right on my phone, so you can see it at all times. According to this, it's the most accurate
And I
one.
think it's going to fall.
They had an amazing breakaway shot, but failed at the last second. Hashtag USA. That sounds about normal. Calla says he does feel like they need to go out of the league. The problem, though, there is that you're not really trading with teams outside the league, and they're so limited in terms of what they can do from a salary standpoint right now that I don't know if they can afford to go out of the league. I mean, they can bring in internationals, but again, just like MLS, they're restricted on the number of internationals they can bring in. So I really don't know what flexibility they have. Although Janine Van Wyk not being re-signed tells me they've probably got their eye on one international because they want to use that slot. You don't get rid of an international player without bringing another one in. Mm-hmm. But who they're going to use it on, where they're going to bring them from, I have no idea. There's some really good international players out there right now. There's a few in Sweden, just throwing it out there. That would be fantastic. But yeah, well, I guess we'll see. And that concludes our Dash Talk. See, we gave him like 15 minutes. Pretty solid. 15 minutes of Dash time. All right, so let's take a quick break. 2-minute break, and then we'll come back, and then we'll talk RGV, because I want to talk Dynamo last. So RGV next.
Okay.
That was so bad.
I have to do everything manually.
Awkward transition number 1. Welcome back. You're listening to Generation Orange, Houston Internet Soccer Show and Podcast. 8-2. What? 8-2. What is he talking about? Is your thing like
Yes.
that? Holy crap. Well, I guess that game's over. Not that I don't believe, but damn. Just damn. So Sofia Huerta, by the way, just FYI, in case people don't know, is headed to Australia. She's going to play in the Australian League, which I think is fantastic. I think it's a good opportunity for her. And if it keeps her happy, why not? If it keeps her happy, why not? Yeah, 5 players from the Dash going to the Australian League. That's common, though. Most teams have 3, 4, 5. A couple have like 7 players going to the Australian League.
Yeah, so you had Amber Brooks and Veronica Lasco will be going to Adelaide United. Sofia Huerta goes to Sydney FC.
Let's go Sydney FC.
Claire Polkinghorne goes to Brisbane Roar, and then Kaya Simon will be going to Melbourne City FC.
Kaya's fantastic. I'm so glad she's on this team. I said that when she got here too, and how excited I was that she was here, and how much I think that was, how much I felt that was going to change the outlook of this team long term. And sure enough, it did. Okay, so we said we were going to talk RGV. It is RGV time, man. It's technically RGV Express.
Long version?
Yeah, the 30-minute version of RGV Express.
Grand Salami. There it is.
God, that's not good.
Yeah, Osuna loaded the bases and then bloop.
Yikes.
You know how that goes.
Fired. Hashtag fired.
Well, all right. So, as we were talking about a little bit earlier, RGV played their last match in San Antonio against San Antonio FC.
And you were there?
Yes, I was there.
Yeah.
I was there, and it was a delightful match.
Well, no. Okay, hold up. So Darby says, as long as she's happy, it is what is best for her. That's not what I was trying to say. It's not being happy. Look, there's a couple of reasons, and I'm only doing this because honestly, I want to get this point across. One, it's good for her because she needs to stay in form, and that's going to keep her in form. Number two, if she wants to do it and it makes her happy, that's great. Keeping her happy keeps her here. If we don't let her go over there and she is pissed off at the team, she's not sticking around. This team can't afford to lose Sophia at this point. And that's my 2 points. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah.
They were legit reasons.
No, those were good reasons.
Unlike other people. Anyways. So RGV, you were saying RGV stuff.
Yeah. So
sorry, it's easy to get.
It was going to be an interesting match. RGV wanted to keep their good form late in the season, and San Antonio was still looking for that ticket to the USL playoffs. They needed
that ticket didn't come.
Don't spoil it.
They already know. We spoiled it at the top of the show.
Did you?
Yeah, we did. We said that already.
That San Antonio didn't make it?
Yeah. Yeah, we did.
I don't think so.
No, we did. You guys in chat confirm it for me, Blues. I know you were there.
Passing the ball around, like the guys at San Antonio Soccer Roundtable said that they should have to do. Chuy Enriquez was pretty isolated from the rest of the players, and King was able to control him really well. And so then San Antonio kept on trying, and then Ever Guzman scores off of a corner, and that was the 1-0, and San Antonio continued to dominate. Our GVers got desperate. They started making silly fouls, silly yellows. I think in the first half we had 4 yellows, and there was actually one instance where Chuy could have gotten a red card because I believe Chuy was getting the ball, and I believe one of the San Antonio players, I think, tugged his shirt or something, and he went with his elbow to the player, and the referee did not call that a red card. It took a while for him to take out the yellow.
No VAR in USL, so he's fine.
Yeah, exactly. So
shit happens.
So what I said was the best thing that can happen to the Toros is for halftime to come. Second half comes. RGV looked so much better. They looked more connected. They looked more aware of each other. And about 5 minutes in, that's when Chuy Enriquez and Carlos Small pair up. Carlos Small scores the goal. And the last 20, the AR did not call that either. And so then at the last second, San Antonio had a corner kick that was cleared out. It was a 2v1 opportunity for the Toros, but the referee called the end of the match before they could try and capitalize on that situation, which had a lot of people mad. But hey, rules say that.
I mean, be real. It had players mad. Just be real. It's okay.
And I mean, it's up to the referee's discretion.
Yeah,
when he ends it.
It is.
Even if it's a.
It is. It's uncommon for a referee to end it in the middle of a promising attack, though. Normally, they try to wait until.
Well, it was in midfield though. Like they had not crossed midfield, but it was a 2v1 situation. But still.
I mean, it just anyways.
But
The referee just didn't want it to end in an RGV win. Let's be real. USL has it out for RGV. Let's be real. Let's be honest. It's just how it is. It's like the MLS has it out for Dynamo.
Let's put on our tinfoil hats, everybody.
Okay. I mean, hey, we got to support all our fans, right? Okay, so you're RGV. You were Matt Jordan. I've just given you Matt Jordan's title. You were head of RGV's player acquisition.
Okay.
And talent management. What do you do this offseason?
First of all, try to retain as many players from our current roster as possible.
Okay.
Bring in some better depth.
Okay.
Especially
at what positions?
I would say in left back position.
Okay, so outside back.
Yes.
Oh, you don't want Derek Luke back?
Is that even a question?
I'm just asking. So at the beginning of the season, in preseason, what did I tell you?
Derek Luke was going to be a no-go.
He was terrible, and I mean,
there's a reason why they had Kyle Adams there.
Yes, but I think the hope was he was going to be at least a little better than he was. He was just bad. He had no recovery speed anymore. He couldn't cut on his leg properly. Like, you could tell he just didn't have what he had. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of it's mental. He just wasn't. He mentally went into the season not feeling like he, in my opinion, based on what I saw, mentally went into the season not thinking he had fully recovered. Mm-hmm. And I think he was just scared of re-injuring himself, and he was playing a little bit timid in terms of that type of stuff. And you could just see it. I mean, it just sometimes that does, injuries like that do things to players, and I think he's not the same player he was before. That's for sure.
Yeah. So outside back would be one of my priorities. Another one would be more depth on the wings.
Okay.
I think in the midfield we're pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to see how Romilio Hernandez continues to develop, because he is a center midfielder. Mm-hmm. So we have some depth there. We have Wharton, we have Nico Perea, we have Romilio, we have Brandon Morales. And then up in center attacking mid, we have Pablo Aguilar, Matias Saldivar, which they've been on par with each other as far as quality is concerned. Except right now, I believe that Matias Saldivar is nursing an injury. That's why we hadn't seen much off him in these last couple of matches. Center backs, I think we're good with Kyle. I'm not sure if Conover's going to get more minutes with the Dynamo.
Sorry, who? Conover?
Connor Donovan, I said.
You said Conover.
Did I?
You totally butchered his name. It was fantastic.
I'm sorry, Connor.
No, Conover. That's his new nickname. Conover.
The Conover.
Connor.
So I'm not sure if Connor Donovan is going to be getting more minutes with the Dynamo next season, depending on
who they retain and who they don't retain.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So I think
we'll get to that later.
I think that may be another thing that I might get. So
right.
Outside back and another center back.
Okay. So how are you acquiring these players? Are you going to go just sign a bunch of players, or are you bringing them in through other means? How are you doing this? I'm just curious. I'm just asking questions. Connor Van Siege. I'm not the only one who heard it.
Okay, so all right, that puts me to think.
Yeah, I know, right, man? Having to think.
So what you're telling me is like whether you wanted the transfers or
how are you bringing in these players? You said you're gonna. I've given you the reins. I've given you control,
okay.
and I've asked you what are you doing? And you said you're bringing in players for depth and gave me a few positions. Now I'm asking, how are you getting these players? Where are they coming from?
Well, I would actually grab. I would try to look for that as in the draft.
Okay.
I think that's the easiest alternative.
The Dynamo are going to have a reasonably high draft pick too for the first round.
However, I would try to bring one more player, Carlos Small, in a kind of way.
International? Can the team afford to do that, considering the number of USL international slots? Come on, Edson. This is your realm. This is your arena.
I believe. I'm trying to.
No, see, Sean don't play around. If you're going to be GM, I'm going to ask you the hard, tough questions. I'm going to make you answer them.
I believe with John Montaño gone. That cleared up an international spot.
That's possible, very possible. So, okay, you have an international
and Guillermo
slot.
Delgado, who was
right.
a Spaniard.
And Emilio doesn't count for one, does he?
Emilio or Camilo Monroy?
No, Emilio, the player they brought in from that.
Oh, Romilio.
Sorry.
No. He's a
for a guy who doesn't follow USL. I was damn close on getting the name right.
You got it. He doesn't.
Okay, so that's good. So that means they probably actually have 2 available.
Actually 1 because of Camilo Monroy.
Okay. Well, okay, that's fair. So, okay, they have 1 available. So 1 brought in via transfer. I could see that. I could see bringing another Carlos Small type in. They have the salary budget to be able to do it. That's for sure. And then it's just a matter. And they said that's what they want to do. So I could see that definitely happening. The question is it going to be defensive based, midfield based, or forward based? In my opinion, if they go forward based, they've got a problem. Because they've already got pretty well sealed who their starting top forwards are right now. Mm-hmm. So, midfield or defense? And
I know it's not a tendency to bring in
I like that catch. Mm-hmm.
I saw that.
Better than the Astros.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
You're bringing in the fire to everybody indiscriminately.
I told you I'm sick. When I get sick, I get just hardcore. Like, you think it's bad now? Just wait till we're playing Rocket League.
Oh man, that's gonna boost up the ratings.
Y'all need to tune in tonight to Rocket League.
Twitch.
Oh, dude,
Twitch.com/Down in the Valley Gaming.
There you go. Down in the Valley Gaming. 30 characters long. Okay, anyways.
Okay. I know it's not a tendency in American soccer, especially MLS and USL, to bring in a high quality player for the defense. But considering the fact
that outside back, all right, cool. Glad we established that. Thanks for taking 30 minutes to get there. Appreciate it. I'm sorry, you were droning on a little bit. I had to cut you up.
Well, I have to explain why I'm saying this.
Okay, why are you saying this? Go ahead.
Like I said, because it's not really a tendency, but if they have to, I guess it would be an outside back because they can help out in the attack as well.
Well, and the other thing is you just brought in Lundqvist from for the Dynamo.
Yes.
And so having another guy in that mold, maybe somebody who's younger, who's not as proven, but the same type of player, especially at right back. I know we have consistent players at right back, but at right back right now would be a great idea. We don't know how much longer AJ has. Mm-hmm. I just think that might make a lot of sense. In not only for the Dynamo, but also for RGV, because you're getting a player that maybe they get a player that can play both sides. That would be even better, right? A player with 2 feet.
Yes,
that'd be great. Forget those one-footed para. What the hell is that word? I can't even think of the word. The ones that have 1 leg. What the hell do they call those things? Call those people. All right, I quit. I'm not offensive, I promise. I just don't have a mental capacity to think tonight. Paraplegic?
I believe so.
Okay, paraplegic, whatever. I'm trying not to be offensive, I promise, and that was not intended to be offensive. I just literally couldn't.
Watch our stream be shut down by YouTube.
They won't shut it down. That wasn't that bad. All right. But no, I want a 2-footed player, and I feel like it's been a while since we've had a 2-footed outside back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest issues right now with Lundqvist is that he's extremely left-footed,
but to be fair, most outside backs are. Mm-hmm. You're not going to find many outside backs that can play both sides and do it comfortably.
No. But I'm talking about, for example, he can only pass with control the ball with.
But that's the problem, though, right? Players in general are only
they're not really ambidextrous.
Yeah, it's very rare to actually find players that can play very well with both feet because you practice with 1 foot. You practice shooting with 1 foot. You don't usually practice with both feet. You practice passing with 1 foot. You don't usually practice passing with both feet. Consistently, you have a strong foot and a weak foot. That's just how the human body typically is wired. Yes.
My question to you is, do you believe it's time to bring up Marcelo Palomino to RGV?
That's a good question. I'm going to say yes. I think it is. At least.
If they brought up Whoop Romer Jr.
At least in the preseason, see how he looks for RGV or for RGV/Dynamo in preseason. At this point, and I don't think anybody can argue this, I trust this group of front office personnel, sans specific ones, but I trust Matt Jordan, Nick Kalba, and the coaching technical staffs to figure out where these players belong in the pipeline.
Thank you, Darby. Amputees are missing a little.
See, that's what I thought. That's why I was like, I know it's not paraplegic, and you were, anyways, whatever. Thank you, Darby. You are awesome.
A savior.
You're awesome, and thank you. Amputee. That's what I was thinking when I was like, oh, that doesn't sound right. It sounds stupid too, but whatever. It is what it is. But yeah, I think that you have to trust that, and the reason I say that is because as much as we've kept up with what he's doing and what players are doing, we're not seeing a lot of footage on how he's playing. Mm-hmm. We're only getting it from secondhand sources. So for me to just say, oh yeah, he's ready, I can't do that. I have to trust that Nick Calba and Matt Jordan, they're in tune with what coaches are saying and what technical staff is saying, and they're listening to what they're saying, and they're bringing players up based on what those recommendations are. And as long as you have the right people in those positions, it makes your job as a general manager a whole lot easier. Mm-hmm. Matt Jordan, if he's got the right people scouting on his behalf, if he has the right people helping, find talent for him on his behalf, figure out where talent belongs in the pipeline on his behalf, all his job is figuring out contracts. And damn, that guy is good at figuring out contracts.
Yeah.
Sorry, that just needs to be beaten into people's heads.
And see, contrary to what a lot of people and I usually thought, I don't think this roster needs a lot of changes, because our starting 11, like Todd Warden said, we proved to pretty much go up against any other team in the USL.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our problem has always been mentality, keeping focus, doing immature mistakes. That's what cost us, not being able to hold leads or draws in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah.
And I think as the season went by, especially in the last 6 matches where they were undefeated in the last 6 matches of the USL, They proved that they can do it. That they have developed a lot more than in the middle and in the beginning of the season. So that leaves a lot of hope for next season, hopefully.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
you don't want to make too many changes that's going to disrupt everything that has been built up.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, right? There's a chemistry there. Clearly, there's a chemistry between Chewy and Carlos Small. There's a chemistry with some of the midfielders as well.
Todd Gordon and Nico Perea.
Which is not a surprise whatsoever. And there's a chemistry with some of those defenders as well. And I think that over time it has shown itself, and I said it would, but over time it has shown itself to be something that can be developed over time a little bit more. And so, as you said, let them have one more season, let them have one off season together, most of them. Maybe you bring in some depth and a couple of players to just compete, just like you do with the Dynamo, to compete. Because if you're competing, you're playing at your highest intensity, or you're not good enough and you know it. Mm-hmm. I mean, those are the only 2 options. At that point, you're either competing or you're like, hey, I can't compete and I'm done. Yeah. And I think that at the RGV level right now, that's what they need. They need that competition to know. Carlos Small needs to know his position is not guaranteed. Now, it kind of is, because he showed up and played so well for RGV in the second half of the season. And he's damn talented for a young player. But I think at other positions, there would be a lot of benefit to having more depth that could compete at the same level the players already are. And I think they're doing the same way they did with the Dynamo, slowly acquiring the players that they need to be able to complete that depth and complete that competition. And so, if it was me as GM, here's what I'm bringing in. I'm bringing in one outside back in. I think you called that. I'm not bringing in a center back, because I believe that the center backs on this team are good enough. I really do. I think Connor Donovan is coming back again next season for RGV for most of the season. Kyle Adams, without a doubt, is a good center back. And I believe that their depth at center back with Ontiveros is good enough.
And Castellanos.
Sure. I didn't see him play a whole lot. I mean, I saw him play like 2 matches. So
he was pretty much a rotation player. And
no, I know. That's what I'm saying. I personally saw him play 2 matches, so I can't say anything about it. I can't be like, oh yeah, he's a great player. Maybe he is.
I think the only issue with Castellanos was whenever he wasn't with either Kyle or with Connor, he looked a little lost. There was very little chemistry with Ontiveros, that being the pairing.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Than with the other more experienced.
Well, and that's something that you again harbor over time. Maybe during the off season, those two guys get together, they work things out a little bit more during preseason. They get more time together as center backs to figure things out. The thing is I know that RGV, I mean, that's 4 players we've just named at center back. That's depth at center back. That's really all you need going into the season, as long as you have guys that you can sign that can come in and play that position as well. And if the Dynamo do call up Connor Donovan, he's going to get playing time for RGV during the season as well.
I mean, he is already under a first-team contract.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. He's going to continue to get that time at RGV and split and have some time at the Dynamo. With that being said, however, if the Dynamo make certain moves this offseason, it is possible we could see Connor Donovan become a possible rotation starter in lieu of Kevin Garcia, in lieu of Leonardo, in lieu of Machado, or Senderos. There's a lot of interesting things that are going to happen with the Dynamo side, and we'll get to that a little bit later as well. But so that's my first one. Outside back, like I said, not worried about center back. Goalkeeper. I want one more goalkeeper, and I want it to be somebody that's going to compete with Michael Nelson. I do not want Nico Corti back. It's not that I didn't like Nico Corti. It's that he's not good enough, in my opinion, to compete with Michael Nelson long term.
You have a very valid point.
And look, if I'm saying it, it's coming from honest. It's not coming because I dislike somebody. I really do like him. I just think that from a player perspective, talent-wise, Michael Nelson is better, and you have to have somebody that can compete at that level.
So it's interesting because in the beginning of the season, Nico Corti was the one that was getting shutouts and things like that. But once we started seeing Tyler Derrick, once we started seeing Michael Nelson, and Chris cites that one match. You see that disparity between. Let's focus on Michael Nelson because that's what you brought up. There's a gap, a talent gap between Michael Nelson and Nico Corti.
Oh yeah.
And let's not get started on Matt Sanchez because if you're going to compare Nico Corti to Matt Sanchez,
I'm sorry, he doesn't play for the RGV anymore. As far as I'm concerned.
I mean, you really have nothing to compare to.
No, absolutely.
But once you compare it to MLS level, goalkeepers, you saw what Nico Corti does not have.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think with the fact that the Dynamo already have Tyler Derrick, that currently they have Chris Sides, don't know what's going to happen to him.
We'll talk about that.
Joe Willis.
Yeah.
Where's Michael Nelson?
Yeah.
So
no, he's an RGV USL player.
So he's going to be an RGV USL player more hopefully next season.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so you're going to have to bring in now. Would you keep Nico Corti as a backup?
No, because you're bringing. I just said you're bringing in another one.
I just putting it out there.
Well, because you've got academy players that could be coming up. You've got players that have been playing at PDL level that could come up and be backups and things like that. But I think Michael Nelson and whoever you bring in there, your 2 starting competitive goalkeepers for RGV next season. I think it's as simple as that. So that's goalkeepers. Midfield, I'm content with what we have at DM, CM. I think we've got good enough players there. I would like to see us see RGV bring in either a right mid or a left mid, just so that they can mix things up a little more. I think sometimes that kind of gets lost in the shuffle. And I think having a true right mid or a true left mid or somebody who can play both sides would be very valuable for the team.
So someone who's not much of a winger, kind of like
somebody who can play winger, maybe kind of like a Andrew Wanger might be a good example of a player that because he can come back and Andrew Wanger can play that type of midfielder.
Yeah.
So somebody that's like that can kind of play any of those positions along the outside comfortably.
So which is interesting because Chuy Enriquez has that sacrifice, but Carlos Small doesn't.
Yeah.
So
and you don't expect Carlos to have that. He's the guy. He's a striker. He is the truest form of a striker.
So this is interesting. It's one of the things that I've seen. So they'll put Coach Echeverry will put Wilmer Cabrera Jr. as a striker, and we'll have Carlos Small as the right winger.
Yeah.
And so you see Chuy coming down and helping on the defense. Carlos Small kind of stays in the middle, waiting for the ball to get to him.
Yeah.
So you see that kind of. That's his role.
But that might also be something they're trying to teach him is to be that kind of player that can track back on defense because that's what the Dynamo are looking for, right? So maybe they're trying to teach him that, and that's why he keeps getting put at outside winger to try to get him a little more comfortable with doing that. And maybe that's just not where his comfort level is. I mean, there's players that just their preference and their way of playing is they're strikers. They're true strikers. They need to be true strikers, and that's where they play best. So yeah, like I said, a midfielder, an outside midfielder, 1, maybe 2, and if I'm going to bring in a second one, I'm bringing somebody in from a PDL rank that's just capable of taking on that role as a depth player, more or less. I'm not expecting to have a starter at that level or at that role. I'm talking about a backup player.
So Palomino?
Probably Palomino would be the player I'd bring up for that. Yeah, glad you figured that one out already. And then I want to bring up one winger. Only one winger as a depth winger, because I think between Chuy Enriquez, Carlos Small, Aldo Quintanilla, who is coming back, I'm putting my foot down. He's coming back. Damn it! You're like, yes, he is. He better. Even after that Instagram post, we won't talk about that. But between the guys that you have in those positions, and Bryce Marion too, between those guys that you have in those positions, they're capable. And so one more player that and I'm going to say this, one more player that is very much in the style of Chewy would be phenomenal as a rotation player. And I think they can find that player. I mean, they can, absolutely. They proved it by finding Chewy. So they can find that type of player. And I think one more of those types of players just elevates this team to that next level and that next season. Because, I mean, just think about it. Carlos Small with 2 Chewies on the field. Holy crap. 1 on each side of him, no less? Dude, I mean, your burning defense is left. Defenses are just going to be clueless. What the hell am I supposed to do? Like, do I shift right? Do I shift left? No,
exactly. Because Chuy Enriquez has that talent of being able. In perspective,
he's a true playmaker. Yes. He is creative enough to make his own space, and he's comfortable enough. There are interchanges between him and Carlos Small that I see at the MLS level. That is how good those two are together. But if one of them's not on the pitch, oh man, it's like those guys don't even exist anymore. It's a night and day difference when those guys aren't on the pitch together.
Yeah.
And so I think if you have one more guy that can interchange, it's kind of like with the Rockets, right? So last season it was Chris Paul and James Harden.
Yeah.
Those are your playmakers. So on the pitch for RGV, it's Carlos Small and Chuy Enriquez. And for the Rockets, when those two players weren't on the court, their team was not that great. So they brought in Carmelo Anthony, for good or for bad, probably better, but we'll see. But I think it's the same way with RGV. One more player up there, and they're going to just wreak havoc on all. I mean, seriously, you've had people telling you that are USL people, hey, these guys are going to be very good next season. Add one more piece to that puzzle. Holy crap!
Plus, Bryce Marion, even though he's not as flashy, I think he does. He does
the work. Yes. He's one of those gritty players that just does the work, and he goes about his business, and that's the Dynamo way. He's coming from the academy. That's what he learned in the academy: grit and grind, and it shows. He's a great player. I want to see him with the Dynamo, but that's neither here nor there. Because I think he'd be a fantastic backup to at least in Kyoto long term. Just throwing it out there.
Isn't that what RGV is for, though?
It is. I'm just saying. One more year of seasoning, maybe 2 at most. Kid's ready. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. You asked me what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing. I feel comfortable doing that. I think Aldo can be that backup striker. I think the right offseason, the right preseason prep, knowing he's not the man, but knowing he's got to compete for it, I think that's actually good for him mentally.
Yeah.
And I think the difference was he went into last season thinking he was the man, and then
especially with the fact
he had the carpet pulled out from under him. Mm-hmm. Whereas this season he kind of
he's the underdog.
He knows he's got to fight for that role, and he will fight. He's got that fight in him. So you just have to see him do it. And so anyways, but that's what I'm doing. I'm just saying.
So to summarize, 1 goalkeeper, 1 outside back,
mm-hmm.
1
midfielder.
1 outside midfielder,
mm-hmm.
1 winger.
Yep, exactly.
Makes sense.
I mean, it's 4 players. That's it. And even at that, of those 4 players, one of them is probably already in the system in Marcelo Palomino. And you already have probably scouted the other 3. And that goalkeeper could be an old goalkeeper that's coming out of MLS somewhere. It probably won't, because let's be honest, that's not the Dynamo way. We're going after young players. But hey, Sam, viva Peru.
How you doing, Sam?
But yeah, so I mean that's my outlook on it. It really is. This team is set up to perform well next season. We're talking about RGV. Let me clarify. They're set up to perform very well next season, and so the right moves make this team even better. And The team already proved they can compete and that they're going to be very good next season. Let's make them just that much better so that they can be the best team in USL.
I can get that.
I'm sure every fan in RGV. And what would happen if RGV next season comes out and they win their first 6 matches in a row? It's going to shut up every freaking fan that's been talking about independence. You're going to see fans showing up again. They're going to be like, "Oh man, this team is great. I've always supported this team."
Yeah, right.
Isn't that what they're going to say though? Isn't that exactly what they'll say?
Yes. So interestingly enough, I want to thank Mike Pendleton, who always year by year keeps up with attendance and makes charts and everything. So
that's
RGV,
a hardcore job, dude.
yes,
even because you don't get paid
every
for it.
team.
Yeah, you don't get man.
So RGV's average for this season was about 4,000 something. Last year, 2017, was about 7,000 something. This was a drop of 33%.
7,200 or something like that, and then this year
was a drop of 33%.
Yeah. Well, and okay, look, you say it's a drop of 33%, but when you have a team that's struggling early on, and I say this all the time, and it's just like with the Dynamo, when you have a team that struggles early on, it's hard for fans to get to back that up, to support that, and oh, shut up, Blues fan. I know you're just trolling right now. Gabe's on. You don't need to troll. It's okay. He's got that all covered. I'm just kidding. Gabe has not been trolly, and I love it. But in all seriousness, you can't look at the attendance numbers and go, man, that sucks. At the end of the day, it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the marketing, which they're improving. It has everything to do with the approach to handling the community, which they're improving, and the on-field experience, which they're improving. And so they're tackling those things that everybody's been complaining about. So next season, to me, it's going to be improved. It's going to be better.
And you know what's interesting, and we talked.
You're very right, Blues.
And we talked about it last week, and down in the valley. It is the organization is making these changes, but so far the fans have not actually done their part.
So look, I'm going to back the fans up on this. You can't make a change midseason and expect to see immediate results. It takes time, and so you're going to see those results, I think, at the beginning of next season. And it may not even be the first week. It may be 2-3 weeks in. But I think, again, if the team starts hot, they're going to have the fans showing back up very quickly. And it all comes down to how they market and how they engage the community this offseason. And I think they're set up to do that well, and I think they're set up to do it the right way. That's going to bring those fans back in.
May you be a prophet.
We'll see. All right, so we're going to take a 2-minute break, and then it'll be 8 o'clock, and then we'll talk actually down the Valley Gaming before we go Dynamo. So we'll be back in 2 minutes. Peace.
Yep.
Credit to Edson, he had a save. You know how often that happens? Like, never.
I had 2 shots.
I don't recall having a save. That's worse.
Edson had 4 assists that match. Edson. Oh.
The ranked match has concluded.
All right, it's searching.
All
Oh, we're playing.
right. That was fast.
Oh, this arena.
It's not that bad. It's not as... Oh.
You could have left it playing. That's great. Oh, man. So if you haven't had a chance to watch our Down in the Valley gaming, I highly recommend you tune in tonight and watch as we play Down in the Valley gaming. We play Rocket League pretty much, mostly. And Pro Clubs very soon will be streamed, which will be great. But Rocket League primarily, and it's me, Callow, and Edson, and occasionally Andres, and occasionally Travis. And it's a lot of fun. We get some interesting conversations going on. Interesting is probably a good word for it. So, Edson, what is Down in the Valley Gaming?
All right, so Down in the Valley Gaming is just pretty much all of us, getting together and playing games, for fun, recording, talking smack about each other. Usually we're the ones, like he said, playing Rocket League. We also, Jacob and I have also uploaded some videos.
Crew 2 videos.
Yeah, with the Crew 2. They've been pretty fun, but now that managed to get an upgrade on my stuff, then I think we're gonna be doing a lot more streams rather than recorded videos.
Yeah,
because I think
streams are way more fun because they're interactive, and that's what you miss.
Not only that, but it's just the antics that happen, like 100% live. Like you can't control it. And it's just hilarious. So we're gonna be doing a lot more streaming like that. We're doing more Rocket League, FIFA 19, more of the Crew 2 between Jacob and I. A couple other games that we plan on getting, like maybe Forza Horizon 4. Mm-hmm. I know we want to do F1 to 2018.
Yeah, so have fun with that.
Yeah, and so it's something pretty cool that we wanted to try out. Just kind of to blow off some steam. And
it's funny because we play on Steam.
So so just something we want to
joke alert.
Yeah, so we want to not only entertain ourselves, we want to entertain you all as well. Jokes, banter.
If you like
between
watching
each other.
really bad gameplay, we are your guys to watch.
Exactly.
No, I mean, and to be fair, we've played better. I think the last few times we've played, as long as we don't have Andres or Travis in our team, because the way it does matchmaking, we end up with like professional players or some crap that are like way out of our league.
Yeah.
But when it's just the 3 of us or just 2 of us, we play pretty solid, actually. I wouldn't say we're fantastic by any stretch of imagination, but we've definitely gotten better since we started. And Cal is captain, and he's fantastic, and we enjoy rubbing
by
it in.
unanimous decision.
Oh yeah, he had no choice in the matter, which is even better. Captain Cal, that's right, Cappy. Rocket League, and Cal is joining us tonight for sure at some point.
Yes.
So we'll be playing some Rocket League, so make sure you guys tune in for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. For sure. I've got an energy drink sitting in that fridge waiting for me when this is over so I don't fall asleep. But, and also there's a special event going on right now. It's a Halloween event where you accumulate Halloween coins that are in crates to open up crates to get Halloween-related themed gear. Poor Callow has gotten 2 decals, and he's kind of peeved because they're for cars he doesn't have and doesn't really want, which is kind of how it always goes. But there are some pretty cool Halloween-themed gear to get for cars for the thing, and so for Rocket League. And so I'm hoping to get one at least. Would be great. But we only have like 20 days, so we're going to be playing quite a bit of Rocket League over the next 20 days to do as much of that as we can. And then I'm sure as soon as Halloween's over, they'll probably they'll prep for the Christmas one, and there will be a Christmas one. It's just never ending. It's always got more stuff to do. So it'll be a lot of fun. Like I said, make sure you tune in. We'll start probably 9:30, right around 9:30 we'll start, and if it's just me and Edson, we'll go 2v2 for a while, and then when Callow joins, we'll go 3v3. If Andres is available, we'll do 4v4, and then whoever else wants to join us. If you are interested in joining us, if you play Rocket League on your PC, feel free to hit us up in the Dynamo Discord, and we will get you added to the club. We actually have our own club.
Generation Orange Dyna Pros.
God B. Yes, we're God B.
Oh, and by the way, if you're going to join our official club, you're gonna have to change your display name to a Dynamo player car pun.
Yes, that's right. So if you go back and watch the video from last time, is that video uploaded yet, or was it? No, you live streamed that, didn't you?
Yeah, I live streamed that.
Live streamed that. So we.
It's on our Periscope.
Callo kind of started. No, you started it. No, Callo did start. Callo started it. And
he started as Juan David car basis.
That's right. He made the Dynamo player car related pun of Juan David car basis, and it was great. And so it became a thing that we now are doing. And so you were
Caro Manotas.
Caro Manotas. That's right. You didn't start as Caro Manotas.
Kai Camaro.
Camaro. Yeah, and then we were like, no, it needs to be a current Dynamo player. So then we came up with Caro Manotas for you. And then I started as Decarbus
Decarbus.
Yes, Decarbus Beasley. And then I switched to. Who did I switch to? I don't even remember now.
It was Oscar Boniek.
Oh, that's
Garcia.
right. Oscar Boniek Garcia. Yeah, that's right. It was very dad jokey. But it's a lot of fun. And the other thing is, and I'm doing actually part of, or will be participating in a they call it Extra Life. Sorry, not Child's Play. Extra Life. My Pathfinder group that I play with, online tabletop group, we're doing a Extra Life event, a live stream for that, and so we'll be sharing out the link and everything on Sunday, Saturday. Actually, it may not be this Saturday. I'll get the exact date and time, and I'll share it on the Gen Orange account and let you tweet it out, and I'll tweet it out too. But it'd be great if you guys could join and support that. We're actually going to be doing giveaways throughout the entire stream. We're hooked up with a group that a tabletop gaming group that always do live streams, very frequently live stream, and so they've got some giveaways to give away from who'd they reach out to? From Loot Crate, actually. They've got a lot of Loot Crate stuff to give away. So there will be giveaways throughout the stream. I think we're only probably going to do 4 hours. It'll be a morning stream, I think. It might be evening. I don't know. We'll see. But please, yeah, definitely. What are you doing?
Something happened.
Are we not live anymore?
I don't think so.
Did I just randomly spout off everything for no reason?
I don't know what's going on.
Start a new stream, I guess.
I wonder if it's.
Oh, is it because you went with the video thing on OBS or not? It's not OBS on XSplit.
It's not it because it's the YouTube.
Go to YouTube.com. Just close out of it completely and go to YouTube.com and remove that out. Close out your browser and then close Google Chrome completely.
Well, hold on, guys. Hold on.
They can't hear us.
No, I know.
No, I meant close that. Go to type task in your search bar.
Oh yeah.
Task manager. Because there's a version of Chrome that continues running in the background. Should be, anyways. Yeah. See, Google Crash Handler. You definitely need to end those out of there. Scroll back up. Oh, sure enough, there's no Google Chrome on there. It may be that YouTube's having problems.
Let me check.
Is YouTube? Oh, YouTube's not down.
You never know. Actually, look.
Oh, yeah. Damn. Interesting. Okay. Well, you want to tweet out that YouTube's having problems and be back shortly? Back as soon as it comes back up. Or do we maybe want to just? We've done an hour and a half, or an hour. We did an hour, so maybe we just say we'll continue the second hour tomorrow. At this point, and we can just do an hour tomorrow at from 8 to 9.
Sure.
And then after we do that, we can jump right into some Down in the Valley gaming.
So what do I? Okay. So what do I? So I just put sorry.
You want me to type it in?
Yeah. No, it's not gonna reach.
Oh, you can. Well, you can start disconnecting this stuff and prep for the Twitch stream at least.
Yeah. Right,
USA scored.
Sweet.
Here, swap me. I'll sit there.
Sure. Let me just try and stop the
Stream, yeah.
let's-
Josh Sargent scored 49th minute. Sam's probably kicking
Okay.
himself.
All right. Well, that sucks.
Yeah, what happens?
Yeah. Should we start around like 9:30?
We'll start basically as soon as you're ready. I'm gonna go turn my computer and go ahead and boot it up.
Okay.
I mean, we could do it at 8:30 because Twitch isn't down. So Twitch
Yeah.
is fine. So we could do it, like I said, 8:30 is fine. Just as soon as you're ready, really. It's not gonna take me long.